about walk right into the investigation of what happened, and heaven and earth to ensure it doesn't happen again. Revealed under oath that not a single Secret Service employee has been disciplined or dismissed over the Butler incident. That is absolutely insane. This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable behavior, not only by the Secret Service, but it says a lot overall of, well, who's really giving all the orders here. Because as we have called out on this show, especially with Biden's decline and Biden's inability to really be an effective leader, we have to wonder who's running the operations in the White House. After all, Biden gave us a vow of protecting the president's law. So who's giving the orders, especially most notably when Secret Service objects to attack RFP and other candidates that are running for the highest office in the land? AOC, for the first time in a long time, seems coherent enough to ask some proper questions. Now, let's be clear, it's all one big game, it's all one big show, and perhaps this time around, AOC got one hell of a script to seem, well, on point. Now, I don't know what's really going to be happening at the end of the day with our wonderful director Cheadle, as she puts the cheat in Cheadle, right? She not resigning, stepping down. This is an absolute embarrassment. And the fact that she couldn't even answer these simple, basic questions from AOC is what's going to lead to her eventual downfall from other members in that same hearing. Folks, there's something bigger going on here. And there's an issue that we all have to count, and that is there's no one taking responsibility in Washington. This is nothing new. We have seen this before. And yet, what seems to be the main thing by a lot of our institutions, at the federal level, at the state level, from our politicians to our media, is failure. Failure to follow through. Failure to do their jobs. And failure to almost stop someone. The thing is, this shouldn't have happened at all. That kid should never have been anywhere near that area. The fact that you had Secret Service not even properly do its job in site security around that area. People's lives were at risk. So much could have gone wrong that day. Everybody got lucky. The next time, there won't be a next time.
From Corolla One Studios in Glendale, California, this is the Adam Carolla Show. Adam's guest today, celebrity fitness trainer and podcaster Vinny Tortorich, and comedian Ben Cleve. Plus the news and trending topics with me, Mike Dawson, now throwing his hat in the ring for the soon-to-be open Hussar position. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. The judge recommended get it on. Yeah, open border czar position, right? Because that's the position it is. It's the open border position. So we might as well just jump right off with that, Kamala, because people are revisiting a lot of her best of hits from the last few years. She's the spokeschild for the word salad crowd, which I've been complaining about for a very long time. It's extra talk, and I don't know why, but extra talk, a version to it that goes deeper than just being bothered or annoyed. Sure. It fucks with me in the weirdest little stupid ways. Like every time I go through Clear, it goes, it takes a picture of your eyes at the airport, and then it goes, picture complete of your eyes. Yeah. And I'm always like, just cut it in picture complete. You had me. We were done. You didn't have to say of eyes. And then everyone looks at me like I'm an insane person. But that's where tampering with disabling or destroying the smoke detector thing, it literally feels like fingernails on a chalkboard to me, because it's just weird extra talk. Yes. And we don't need it. And I think when people go, well, the number one answer for most people, which is sort of like, so what? It's sort of the Mike August answer when I used to tell him, hey, Mike, the Irvine show was sold out 2 weeks ago. Why are we still plugging it on the podcast? And go, how could it hurt? Okay. Well, you're right. We can just talk about tons of shit that exists or has no landing spot in our society reality. Right. We could be talking about Narnia. But that's how people's kind of approach. And so when you're watching the word salad. Now, the word salad is chick thing. Chicks do a lot of extra word salading. Ben Shapiro doesn't do a lot of extra word salad talk. The word salad is invented for dumb people in positions of power to sound smart. Yeah, I mean, we go back to my old extra cop talk bit, but cops have to talk. At some point, there's going to be some cop. And who's this cop? He's one of the dumber guys you went to high school with from the JV football team, right? And now he's in charge. And now he's 26. And at some point, he's going to pull over Mark Garagos. And he doesn't really want to have a battle of wits with Mark Garagos. So he's going to do the extra filibustering talk, right? So Kamala Harris is dumb. And many of the women you see are dumb. But many of the politicians you see are dumb, male and female. So they do extra talk.
You're damn straight it is. His name brought it back. They're gonna make him do this till he's 90.
Welcome back, everyone. Maximum effort. I had a chance to see Deadpool and Wolverine. This will be my non-spoilery review. I know there's going to be all kinds of questions on whether or not it delivered on the hype. There was so much hype. Whether or not it was just a glorified cameo fest of classic X-Men actors. What was it like getting Jackman back as Wolverine, wearing the actual yellow suit from the comics to boot, and whether or not Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool will really wind up being the Marvel Jesus that he claims to be in the actual movie. Of all the upcoming Marvel movies that we've known about the last few years, this has probably been the one that I've been looking forward to the most. I think a lot of people have been looking forward to this movie more than any other thing that Marvel has announced recently, just because it has so much potential. Then we saw all the trailers, and there was a lot of questions, like what is this movie actually going to be? The reason why I've been looking forward to this movie is that the potential there to totally fix every major creative complaint against Marvel since Avengers Endgame. And there have been many, many complaints. And the movie actually gives Marvel a direction to go in, like an actual direction, where they felt pretty rudderless since Avengers Endgame, just trying a whole bunch of stuff, seeing what sticks. Basically using the shotgun method, we're just going to try a whole bunch of new characters and just see what people like. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman cooked. We will make a lot of comparisons to the first Iron Man movie with Robert Downey Jr., because just like Robert Downey Jr. sort of becoming Iron Man, you can't really untangle the characters. He's so completely become that character that you only associate it with him. You can't imagine anyone else playing the character. It's the same phenomenon with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, you just can't imagine somebody else playing the Deadpool character. Deadpool and Wolverine sort of crystallizes a lot of their direction going forward. Kevin Feige literally, as the movie was getting ready to come out, said that the movie is meant to be the beginning of the mutant saga in the MCU. Now, I don't know how literal he meant that comment. He might have been speaking more metaphorically. We'd all had a lot of theories that the mutant saga would be like the successor to the multiverse saga. Like, you have the Infinity Saga, Marvel Phase 1, 2, and 3. You have the multiverse saga, Phase 4, 5, and 6. And then everything after that would just start the mutant saga, with them doing more core X-Men based stuff. But after this movie, it definitely feels like they accelerated their plans to do that. Like, you know what? This is actually a really fertile area, just in terms of story, characters, so much potential here. Why don't we just make a beeline for all the stuff that people are really looking forward to? There's so much to talk about. The brand new channel, we're also doing a giveaway for movie tickets. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and just post all of your reactions to the movie in the comments. A non-spoilery type of video here. Please don't post overt spoilers if you do get a chance to see the movie early. But there is a post-credit scene. I feel like that's not a spoiler to say that you need to stay after the credits. It would be weird if you went into a Deadpool movie that referenced literally everything that could possibly be referenced, every meta thing that it could possibly do, and did not have a post-credit scene. I will do a totally separate video for that later this week, and a full breakdown video with the many Easter eggs and references. So make sure to go see the movie as soon as humanly possible. Don't wait a couple weeks. Don't wait for it to come out on home video and Disney Plus. Rush to your closest theater as soon as possible. Starting with probably one of the biggest elephants in the room, everybody's been seeing all the trailers, the billions of cameos from all the classic Fox Marvel movies, cameos from other legacy movies pre-MCU, and a lot of present-day MCU stuff mixed together. And one of the highest compliments I could give this movie is that it manages to balance all those cameos, all that craziness, and still maintain the heart of that original Deadpool movie.
Nine people. My entire world is right here in this picture. I have no idea how to save it alone, but you know how to save it.
Like, this movie is the real Multiverse of Madness that we always wanted to get when we saw those Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness trailers. The movie absolutely trashes the Multiverse Saga movie, so if you've been looking forward to Deadpool making fun of all those, he definitely does that. Going into it, I thought of it as more of a swan song for a lot of the classic Fox Marvel movies just because so much of the movie trades on the comedy of the Fox movies being defunct now that the MCU has all those characters back. There's even a lot of direct jokes in the movie about that specifically. But even though it clowns on a lot of that fact, like, you're not wanted Fox Marvel actors, all these legacy actors, we're going to be recasting all these new people in these new Marvel movies, it still manages to do them great honor. It treats all the characters very well. But everyone gets clowned on. Everyone in real life associated with these movies, the entities like Disney, Fox, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, making fun of themselves throughout the entire film. Some of these things are probably the reason why this movie succeeds in doing what She-Hulk, for instance, tried to do but failed. They found a way to keep the focus on the actual character journeys throughout the movie while all this crazy stuff is going on around them, multiverse style. And one of the big problems, I think, recently the last several years, you have a lot of Marvel movies since Endgame, Phase 4, Phase 5, Phase 6, starting to lose their way, getting buried under the spectacle, though. Marvel's biggest weakness has probably always been its actual scripts. Mostly because even going back to that first Spider-Man movie, you never really had a big script before they start filming any of the movies. James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy movies are probably the exception to that, just because he writes them himself, and in this case too, Ryan Reynolds is one of the main writers of the movie. Now, he's a film writer. Big reminder that the writers of the original Deadpool movies came back to actually write on this too, which I think is one of the ways why they're able to maintain the core Deadpool character while this is all going on. Like, they're trying to bring him into the MCU, trying to do all these other things, pull out the MCU just in general, course correct the MCU getting forward into the next Avengers movies. So under any other group of writers, the movie probably would have failed. Another good example of this phenomenon is Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Have scripts, just like a collection of notes that they scribble out every single day and get to the actors when they're trying to work through scenes. If it hadn't been the Russo brothers and all the Marvel actors who've been doing these movies and playing these characters for so many years on all different sides of the equation, like all the creative people involved in making the movies have been around these for so long, those movies could have been a shadow of their former selves. Because they just carried a lot of the original Deadpool movie creative team forward to make this movie, it manages to combine that Infinity War level spectacle. I think Infinity War is probably a better comparison than Endgame, just in terms of the vibe. Even though there are many Endgame references specifically in the movie, combining that with the heart and soul of the first Deadpool movie, which is a way smaller film. And even though it uses a lot of the cameos for just general comedy, it pays each of the characters that it uses for those cameos with great honor. Which I think is why it's so easy for a character like Deadpool and Wolverine, for instance, to get away making fun of everyone so much without getting the same hate as, say, like She-Hulk gets, because it treats all these characters with a lot of respect. Of course, there's all kinds of Disney references, Fox jokes, Marvel Kevin Feige specific references, literally every joke, like I said, about any person or any entity in real life, any previous Marvel movie that could be made fun of, gets made fun of. No one is safe from being clowned on in this film. Least of all, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. In fact, I don't think it's a spoiler to say, because they put it in one of the recent trailers, but in the movie, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine actually calls Deadpool God's perfect idiot, while Deadpool spends most of the movie making fun of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine.
You are God's perfect idiot, aren't you? The answer is yes.
Just a little taste of how meta the jokes get, because that line is taken from the first Deadpool movie intro scene, with writers of that film, writers of this film as well too, called Ryan Reynolds God's perfect idiot. You have to remember, going into this movie, I think it's better to say any reference or connection to anything in real life and within the Fox X-Men universe movies, any other Marvel movies or different cinematic universes, because it does reference other cinematic universes as well too. All gets referenced and sort of mixed into the same bucket thanks to the TVA. So if you love that aspect of Deadpool, like the meta nature, they really take that to 11 in this movie. Like, it really goes crazy. It's gonna take me like 4 days to try and make my breakdown Easter eggs video. I'll have to watch the movie like 10 times to catch everything. But thankfully, Kevin Feige, Bob Iger, like all the actual heads at Disney and Marvel, let them keep their very hardcore R rating. That was never a question. Kevin Feige made a big deal about that, letting them do what it is that they do. He also said the success of this movie opens the door for more similar R-rated movies in the MCU, just in general with other characters. Without getting into spoilers, he makes a lot of very special references to other really big Marvel characters, so you just kind of wonder what that means about the actual canon if he knows these other characters. Like, when did he meet these other people?